Well, we are finally back. It is our last episode of this 5-10 cash game session. Some people's stacks have built up a little bit here, and I don't know about you, Grant, but I'm looking forward to a possible big confrontation. I always want to see a lot of chips. You know, someone get badly hurt, personally. That's me. That's just me.
That's what I call expert poker analysis. You just want to see pain.
Yeah. That's just life analysis, man. Anytime I can see a confrontation between two people, I've got a lot to lose, I'm in.
Speaking of a person with a lot to lose, Wonka might lose that cool shirt-hat combo if he doesn't play this 7-6 suited correctly.
Well said.
Yeah.
Very well said. So Wheel limps, and we don't know what his cards are, interestingly enough.
Is it because he's embarrassed that he limped? Oh, it's because he doesn't want anybody he's playing against to know in the future what his limp re-raising range is, and that it includes ace-king.
Apparently they do know what it is. Wonka folds right away to the limp re-raise. That's a pretty reasonable outcome for ace-king, I must say.
Yeah, sure. You make an extra $45 by limping. Well, maybe not. I mean, maybe things go a little differently. Wonka calls anyway if Wheel opens, and it becomes a huge pot of some type. But Wheel could have lost
definitely
that pot.
calls. Wonka definitely calls, but yeah, I mean, Wheel only has like 60% equity anyway. He can get bluffed and all that, and instead he just gets to win. Can't be bad. A chastened Wonka folds the ace-7 off.
The game's heating up.
Chastened, huh?
Yeah, sure, why not?
It went like 30.
Ken's going to open the button with 9-8 off.
That's how you know the game's
And it just is going to get through. Ken's with...
Well, I don't think Wheel really had ace-king that time. That seems like one of those times where the software must have picked up his last hand, or otherwise Wheel's really changing up the ace-king strategy in the big blind.
Sometimes when players are a little late to actually release their hands, the software's moved on to the next hand, and so because it was in Wheel's hand still, perhaps those cards got picked up on the reader, and then the reader thinks, oh, so he's got ace-king. And that's certainly what happened. He obviously didn't fold ace-king there.
Of course, that's really the only explanation. He's never folded ace-king.
Right, of course. I'm just explaining the technical aspect of it to folks who may not know.
Look, this channel is called The Poker Guys, not the Technology Nerd Guys, okay?
Wow. Yeah, because poker's not played by nerds ever. Hey, so here's Joseph, also known as the Rooster, throwing it away. Digital Dan with 3,500 in front of him. And a dapper haircut on top of him.
You comment on haircuts more than anybody I've ever met.
You have not spent a lot of time around people who watch RuPaul.
Let me tell you something.
My guess.
Like I don't think
The
that was
reason,
a troll, but if that was,
no. 2 episodes ago, the reason Esther messed up is because I took her off her drinks first. Jay. But she's real.
Dude, Esther's a gilf, you know, I understand.
She's realer than Santa Claus.
Gilf?
Sounds like Joseph and Wonka engaging in some discussion about our interns.
Shut up. Checked MILF.
Not shocking.
MILF also not.
Just as Wheel is the talk of the interns, I say the interns are the talk of many of the players. You know?
Except for Wheel, which is probably why they talk about him so much, because he's kind of got that bad boy, I don't care about you type of thing going on.
James Dean, Johnny Depp, Charlie Sheen.
Internship.
How many times have you heard Wheel just be like, Wheel's just like, winning?
He does say that all the time.
Yeah.
He calls
So
himself
Scrapple
a
Rafi.
sheen head. Calls himself a sheen head.
I do vote for more VIP room anecdotes, though. Those were
Is Charlie Sheen still alive? Is he somehow still alive?
Yeah,
Good for him if
I
he
mean,
is. That body's been ravaged.
He's physically alive. I don't know if his brain waves count as alive based on
Do you think
what
he
he's done.
feels like physically the way other people feel physically, like when he walks, you know, just to the bathroom?
That's an interesting question, and we're gonna have to ask a doctor. I don't know if we have any doctors playing this time.
I don't know. We have one of the best Scrabble players in the world, even though he used to be called Scrabble Rafi.
One of the best Scrapple players.
There he is. We have actually changed his name to Scrapple Rafi because, you know, Gremlins got into the software and they've started playing with the names a little bit apparently. But that's okay.
That's great. You've created an entirely new straw man for us to blame instead of just the interns. Now we can blame both the interns and the Gremlins anytime anything we don't want to happen happens. That's perfect.
It sounds great. I like not taking responsibility. I'm all about not taking responsibility.
Well, unless it's a good thing. obviously.
Nah,
You wanna take
even then, I'm not really interested.
Yeah, too much attention.
Or on one of my.
Gotta get out of bed. Deal
Just
with
too much effort. Like, who wants to say, yeah, I did that? I mean, and then have to deal with the whatever response is. I mean, who cares? Anyway, here's Ken with the 6-5 suited.
Those are better.
Haven't really seen any confrontations of any kind yet, even though that's what I was looking for.
Looks like
But,
you're gonna continue to be disappointed. So, hold on a second. You're telling me if you successfully brokered peace in the Middle East in a lasting way, and people wanted to be like, Jonathan Levy, we would like to give you credit for brokering an impossible peace that's been worked on for thousands of years. We finally got it because of you and your idea and your mediation. You'd be like, you know what? I gotta watch Breaking Bad for the 6th time instead.
I'm just
gonna
saying,
do
like, can't really be bothered. Like, enjoy the peace. The whole point is it was peace in the Middle East, right? It wasn't like bother Jonathan Levy in the Middle East. So, like, leave me alone.
No, you would be not in the Middle East during this time. To be clear.
You don't think if I brokered peace in the Middle East, I wouldn't be spending time in the Middle East? I think I would.
Dude, this is the era of video communication. You don't need to be there.
That's true.
Go home with this stack. I'm either going to double
Raise
it up.
30.
So
Wonka gonna open the button here with the 10-9 off.
Rooster has a defendable hand. All right.
We're gonna see a flop for the 2nd time this episode,
I think the 3rd, but still.
unless Joseph 3-bets big and Wonka folds, but
I don't know.
looks like he's just gonna call.
I've lost it.
I'm hoping for the 10-9-8 flop. I don't know about you. 6-7-8, something like that.
Oh, that's right. Not such a
It's
good
a little
thing.
less exciting.
I'm 1-3. I was 0-3.
I might be 2. Actually, I'm 2 and 2 in that league.
I'm
It's
checking.
a Devin showing off.
He's 2-2. I can't. I'm 1-3. Check.
Is Wonka going to bet this? No. I think Wonka would just be checking so much of his
Ooh.
range there.
Well, he makes the full house here. That's
It's
nice.
such a good card. That is, even of the 10s and the 9s, that is just such a better card to hit the 9 than the 10 for Wonka.
Could be 5 minutes.
From Joe's
Wonka
to get
should be
action.
able.
that kind of
Wonka
swing.
should be able to get 2 streets
That kind
here,
of portfolio
unless an
value.
ace or a king comes in with it, probably.
27K. I'm like,
No, I mean we both
Queen
had
ain't
3
great
jacks
either,
and a 9.
but I would think if an overcard doesn't come, it'd be shocking if he doesn't get it. Any card under an 8, I gotta believe Joseph's just gonna feel obligated to pay off, right? Look at this tiny bet. Of course he has to call.
I think you'd have to call most bets with the line that the players have taken
Yeah.
on the board. Well, it is a queen.
Yeah, I'm not so sure this is gonna work if Wonka bets again. I don't know if Wonka's gonna bet again. He may be worried about getting action
we just are in
from worse hands when he bets and gets called on the turn. Yeah,
Yeah.
he thinks he's
He has
chopping
to-
a lot.
Oh, I can beat that one.
He has to be targeting specifically under pairs to the board, a lot of which you might expect Joseph to 3-bet
So much
pre-flop.
pain for that little tiny pot.
And also a lot of them which may fold the river. Like 8's
Yeah.
are the one hand, as Wonka said, he may actually get action from. That's one of the few hands that may call. Even that we're not sure. I like the check.
9, 10, 8.
You win with a jack too. It's true. That's true. I had those as outs.
Huh?
Yeah, jacks were outs. Sexy outs.
I was gonna rip my king so hard if it was because I figured you're betting all aces on the flop.
Oh, so your team is 1. No, actually,
I didn't
that
have a
way-
king. What the king I was talking about.
My team is doing good. Like, my team
I
is
was-
3 and 1.
I was
But that's
4-3.
my Pat Mahomes
That
league, you know?
So
That helps.
Real with the limp again. I wonder if he's limping with the intention of. Nope, probably not.
Yeah.
Now with that king 8 off, never mind.
You got him?
Maybe he
Well,
will.
he's
Maybe
now-
he'll 3-bet anyway.
He's now established the image of the limp re-raiser guy, so it feels like he can just limp willy-nilly with all the crap in the world.
He's like, it's like I'm in the small blind over here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Why this would be suddenly a hand that is a hand that decides to play. But in fairness to him,
I felt stupid betting that.
he's
round
got
one, too,
the
'cause I was
best of
like-
it.
That was right.
I mean, honestly, I was like, I guess I play him.
Ken with the flush draw.
I was like, it's not like he plugs in and
Ken with the
saves
flush.
one, you know? I mean, Coleman's not.
No, I know.
Not a good flush.
But still a flush, and it just checks through, it looks like. Oh no, Ken bets $10 on the river. This 5-high flush.
On the turn.
Sorry, I can't even, it's just hard to know because the gremlins or the interns or someone was taking so long to put that turn card up on the board. I assumed the river had come up, and it wasn't showing. What do I know?
Actual dollars you're bidding?
Well,
You know what's
usually
getting
at
to
a
me? The
poker
quarantine is getting to me.
Usually at a poker hand, you have to have a turn and then action, and then both players have to perform the actions that would allow for a river to come. Just,
Yeah, I know, but the
That's-
way the camera was going, I thought it was very reasonable. It went check, check, and we couldn't see it. Anyway, hey, in case people are wondering, so this was actually filmed in 2018, I believe. 2018. So don't freak on us because people aren't wearing masks or anything like that. Filmed in 2018. We're putting on the commentary now in the midst of the coronavirus still, you know, with its grips around certain parts of the world, including the United States. But
Pretty sure this was 2019, but you know, same idea.
I'm actually pretty sure it wasn't, but it doesn't really matter, does it?
With the buy-in for the league, you get $1,000 with
The Rooster opening up there on the button. He's got $3,000 in front of him, and Digital Dan with a defendable hand. All right, classic matchup here. Suited big ace against a pair. Very exciting. Very exciting.
Is this what you wanted? This is.
I mean, it's hard for these guys. I mean, an ace deuce jack flop would have been pretty sweet.
Well, instead we
Yeah,
have 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 3 heart. Nobody has a heart.
Okay. So
Board.
that's the way it's done. So you have to.
Both these guys just want to get to showdown here, and
Barely the right bid.
probably they will with no blood.
I mean, you'd rather. They were the right bid. Yeah.
It's one of the problems with the open
Joseph's,
staging here.
Joseph's going for value.
He's specifically going for value, I think, against a hand just like Dan has, and he
And
is
it's
going to
gonna
get
work.
it. All right.
Nicely done.
Raise value.
He's got him by like 3 pips.
That was a thin value bet. That's what they call that.
Indeed. He just thinks Dan would have bet any pair by the river, and that's pretty reasonable to assume that. Even a 6, Dan would probably have bet. I think Joseph's losing like pocket 4s and pocket 3s only. Almost all the time there. He's losing. Still, that was cool. Most people, including myself, I think would usually just check there. Not want to open the action, get blown off the hand, or just value yourself.
The second playable quarterback.
Right.
Because I had like Mahomes and
Joseph
Brady.
getting thin value.
I mean, it was bye
Guy's
week.
thinner than
Yeah. I mean,
Kylie Jenner.
Getting
That's
thin
right.
value.
It's we're relevant.
how many people are in your league?
Wow, really good.
Yeah. Self-made billionaire, I think.
If you're not
Is that the right
careful,
one?
Walker's got ace
One of them
jack.
is, supposedly. They, at least they call themselves a self-made billionaire. It's not true, obviously.
40?
Not to go off on a rant here or anything.
running back who might
Your
go-
whole life is going off on a rant.
You don't have-
Okay, I don't. I mean,
Okay.
don't get me wrong.
All right, we got the 9-7 of hearts. Wonka opening +1 with the ace-jack. Of course, we're 8-handed, so +1's going to be a little wider. Wonka
You know, I
flops
think
very
this might
nicely.
be incorrect. Joseph actually folded the 9-7 of hearts, and Ken called the button with something that we don't know what it is.
Oh, how
So-
exciting.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's play it that way. Let's analyze the hand. It looks like the hand's over.
Well, Wonka flop,
So-
top.
The interns are doing a terrible job so far. I'd just like to point out. Joseph was not in the hand. They already did that
And
with
so are-
another hand as well.
And I'm going to blame you, Jonathan Levy. You're
Why?
doing a terrible job of knowing what year this was recorded because during the last break, they were talking about Gardner Minshew. That
Yeah,
is
they were talking about him as a
all day.
prospect. As a
Oh,
prospect.
okay, sure.
Gardner Minshew, of course, the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Right.
Oh, is that the
This
one
is filmed in the
quarterback
fall of
one? Okay.
2019, back when
I'm
fantasy
into
football was a
these.
real thing. Hopefully
No.
someday again it will be.
Oh, please. Let it happen.
No,
Here's Snapple Rafi, as his name has once again changed. I like that, actually. That's pretty good.
I got
Snap-
He
Apple
enjoys,
Rafi.
he enjoys a nice crisp peach drink.
No.
I
From a-
used to
from a
drink
vending
peach
machine.
Snapple
I'm
all the
I was
time.
mixing up which, I know.
All the time. I
No, it's all
loved
good.
that back in the day. They're not a
Yeah, I was
sponsor.
mixing up the two.
I'm sorry to say. 'Cause then we get all the free peach Snapple I could drink.
I didn't have the first pick.
Instead.
Or second pick.
I think
Just
it's a little
giving them
sugary.
money.
Multiple
little
leagues,
sugary.
you know, half PPR, full PPR.
Anyway, we have
Yeah,
a
it's-
pit
it's sugary.
situation.
Yeah, and nobody
Rafi
flops
is a
anything.
favorite to win the hand right now with the initiative
Yeah.
on a king high board where you'd expect him to continue a lot of the time.
Yeah,
Dan
this is such a
could
dry
call
board.
once. Call once, but it's also fine just to give it up.
Yeah, I think it's really fine on that point to give it up, where he's got just the one back door. You know, his name of backdoor flush draw. And his overcard may not be good if he hits it. I like the fold, honestly. Just why get involved any more than you need to? That's, of course, that's my entire life philosophy. Why get involved? Just stay out of it. You know,
Not too well.
just leave it alone. That's me.
If I would have checked his
How did
Twitter
you
feed
broker peace in the Middle
prior
East
to the
with that
draft, it was
philosophy?
like,
Well, that was the trick, wasn't it?
No, I didn't know that.
I guess it must have, it must have been.
Exactly.
None of us knew that much.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just didn't do my homework.
The proof was in the pudding in that one.
Surveying all the
And that's
women
how I
in the
did it.
country.
No, I just had,
Use
all I had to
pudding.
do was check his Twitter feed.
Okay. Never thought of
Butterscotch
that.
pudding, by the way, doesn't get its due. And I'm just going to say maybe that had something to do with the whole peace in the Middle East thing. I was like, yeah, everyone just calm down, sit down.
Are you?
Here's some butterscotch pudding. Let's all just calm down and eat some of this, and it'll be fine. And don't talk to me, by the way, because I don't want to be bothered by
Yeah, I'm
anyone.
on a free one on Yahoo.
Anyway, here's Wheel with the raise and,
I gotta find this.
Nope.
sorry, Wheel with the
So
limp
excited.
on the button.
Oh,
I just assumed you'd raise. Call me crazy, because I'm not paying attention.
No, I'm not right.
Wonka raises
Wheels-
from the big blind.
And it's on
Wheel has only
a
limped
free
so
one?
far
Yeah.
in this
wow.
episode. Even
Pretty
with his
interesting.
king.
He's trying a limping strategy. This is kind of out of nowhere. He
Yep.
hasn't been doing this the
Crazy.
last several
I don't know
episodes.
what the one on FanDuel's
a
like.
little
Wonka does
surprised
have
to see
the-
Wonka check
Yeah.
the flop.
Rest of it here. This would have been a good card for Wonka to bet, actually.
Oh, I don't think
So
this
it
is.
But it's deciding to keep the pot
I don't
small.
think this is that way, but I can't be 100% sure.
Well, I think he can
I
check
think
call
two
now
teams
if Wheel
on
decides
the
to take a
stretch,
stab.
You run out of good.
Wheel's
Then
hand is
Wheel's
probably
gonna
just.
hope the king
big
high is
card.
good. Hoping the king high is
Leave
good.
this tweet.
It's hard for it to be good, but it's not impossible, right?
Got the master.
Wonka's got to have like a suited connector that he decides just to give
Master
up on. It's pretty unlikely. Usually Wonka's going to fire the turn with the suited connector, right? If not the flop.
Never heard that before in my life.
But
I haven't either.
still, I understand.
I like
It's
that
king
guy.
high. You can almost talk yourself into it being good a little bit of the time.
Turns out to be
Oh, here you go.
a little more legit.
There you go.
I'll show it after this hand. If I would have seen this tweet, I never would have drafted the guy.
So
Joseph making a
Yeah.
disciplined lay down under the gun there. Wheel limping
playing,
again.
we're actually only playing 7-handed right now. So that is, it's a disciplined laydown. A lot of people would open that hand, 7-handed there. I actually like the fold, personally, but
Got the ace high flop. Good for Wheel.
a
Wonka with
pair
a
for
7,
Wonka.
but not a ton going on with that 7. He does have a backdoor straight draw with a 10, but I don't know if that's enough to call.
Snapple Rafi with the 2 back doors only probably isn't going to be good enough to call. Even $20 here is my guess. Although $20 in position, he could talk himself into it, but he's just not interested. He'd rather work with letters.
He's a
Makes sense.
lettersmith, not a wordsmith, a lettersmith.
Yeah. Wheel's going to bet again here. Wheel's
This
just
should
like,
end
I'm the
things.
limping man.
English paper due by the night.
Shoot me in the leg, because I'm going to limp constantly.
What do you spell do and
There's no-
prove?
no-
I can
I
try
don't
to
think you
suck out.
need
I'm like,
that in
hell
order to
no.
limp. You could just limp voluntarily without the pain.
Who wrote that?
I had your.
But you're going to forget. That's the problem.
That
He
was good.
re-enrolled
You're going to
it.
have been limping, and then you just like it. You start thinking about,
That's real.
you know, the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, and where are you then? Now you're walking like a normal person again, and it's a disaster.
Terrifying.
Well, Antonio Esfandiari didn't forget to lunge everywhere in that bet he had with Bill Perkins a couple years back.
But he put that tweet
Yeah,
out
he
to
lost
somebody
$50,000 and got kicked out of the tournament, though, right?
Did you see it? Did you read the whole thing?
Yes,
Make sure
but he didn't
Actually, I
forget.
think he won. Actually, I think he won the bet and got kicked out of the tournament. Now that I say that,
Or did he win the
Then he-
bet?
Very difficult.
I think he won, but he
Yeah.
couldn't walk for
Like, no,
days.
bro. Not gonna do it.
I think it was like day 2 of the tournament also that he got kicked out of it. It was like,
Yeah.
I'd rather take 50K, but not by a huge amount at that point when
Well,
you're
I think
Antonio.
the tournament was actually a 50K. I think there was a 50K buy-in
Oh,
tournament.
are you serious? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's actually bad. Getting
Yeah.
knocked out on day 2, assuming you have chips of any kind, getting just kicked out. For those who don't know what we're talking about, Bill Perkins bet Antonio Esfandiari $50,000 that he couldn't lunge for 8 hours straight
it
or
was-
something like that.
I think it was like 24 hours. But
Okay, yeah, everywhere he goes, 24 hours. And so Antonio, on a break in the 50K, I think it was at the PCA, right?
yeah.
I got
He had
excited.
to pee and couldn't walk anymore. And so he got a little cup of some sort and peed under the poker table. And they, during break, but they found out about it. They meaning, the man, the administration, and they kicked him out of the tournament right away, which is a fair thing to do, I must say.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, probably no peeing at the poker table is a good rule in general.
I think if you pay any amount of money, but certainly $50,000 to play in a poker tournament, it's reasonable to expect people won't be urinating actually at the same place where you're actually playing the poker and sitting all the time. I think that's
Yeah.
a fair thing to ask.
Country, rock,
So,
hip hop, R&B, everything.
yeah. But it was a good video. It's like good to watch. Wonka, who usually pretty tight, is opening it up a little bit here with King 9 off in the cutoff. Often he's going to not play that hand, I would say, from the cutoff, but he's like
Well,
trying
it's
to
been
attack
a
10's blind.
relatively passive game so far, and he might be
Yeah.
seeing that and deciding, well, I can just be a bit more aggressive here and it can be profitable.
Yeah. That's fair. We really haven't seen any kind of big thing happen yet.
Scary about that is that's somebody that
But the nice thing about poker is, man, all it takes is once, you know, a blink of an eye, and suddenly
We're not going to
there's blood everywhere.
What are we?
I'm not saying
That's a nice thing about a thing.
Twitter. He put on his Twitter a couple days ago.
Yeah.
My English
That's how I got
paper
peace in the Middle
due
East.
by tonight.
Oh,
Somebody
I thought it was the pudding.
Do DO and proof PR.
Well, I mean, it was a joint effort between the pudding and blood everywhere. The threat of blood everywhere.
Go straight
Look at shiny. Now it's shiny Rafi. Shiny Rafi with ace jack is going to call the open from Stewart.
Shiny Ruffy definitely sounds like not the leader of a cult, but a pretty high up in the cult. You know, I got to talk to Shiny Rafi yesterday and
If I would ever check his Twitter, I
told me
never
about my
would have
destiny.
Like, oh, you want a
What we
new
were gonna
pillow
do.
for your
Well-
cot? You want a new pillow for your cot? Talk to Shiny Rafi. He handles the pillows.
A pillow for your cot. Digital Dan flopping best here.
Yep, and he looks like he's going to lead into the world. It is a board where he's not going to have too many chances to improve in the future, and there aren't many good cards, so I guess that
Yeah.
is why he's doing this.
There are 4 ways also. It does make sense. Of course, a raise is a disaster. Makes it really tough, especially with the king of spades in his hand. But it's pretty reasonable to just protect there. Your 4 ways. It's often just going to check through. Of course, you know, if it checks through and he hits a king, hello, Dolly. We're back.
We have returned from the icy tundra of advertisement.
Stewart up to 3.8K. Him and Digital Dan could be fixing to get into a big pot. And if that were to happen, I don't know, we might see some real money moved around. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody
All these
might
guys
have to
with
contact Shiny Rafi for a pillow. You know what I'm saying?
Next.
pretty much everyone at the table except for Wheel and Ken have got, you know, at least 2.5K in front of them. A lot of them have over 3K in front of them. So just need a little bit of a cooler, so I'm going to lose their mind just a little bit, you know. Let's get a little bluffy, guys. Let's go. I'm ready. You know what I'm saying?
Google, I checked.
Yeah.
So, no, but check this out. I mean,
Good.
A lot of small
one of
cash.
Good, I'm
those
glad.
Twitter things I read or whatever was like he was involved in the setup of the Stones RFID system, and so maybe he.
I saw something. He had some consulting company or something.
Well, but he was
It's like-
involved with the setup. You know, like he's like the girl that actually called him out. She played and commentated. So there was obviously more than one person involved and stuff. Because if he,
What are they laughing at?
Shiny Dancer. Like, hold me close up, Shiny Dancer, sort of,
if he could have any
Yeah.
RFID
along those lines.
They are.
next
Is that how you spell shiny?
conversation right here.
No.
Why is there an E there?
Shinny Dancer. Hold me close up, Shinny Dancer.
Because they're streaming them all.
So that seems like a reasonable way to do
Use
things.
RFID, right?
They do all of them that way. Almost final tables. You put them on PokerGo and
Anyway,
CBS all
another
that
hand.
stuff.
Oh, it's not over
Physically
because somebody called apparently. Was it? We don't know who.
That's what I'm.
Damn it,
that's what I was
interns.
telling you. So I'm not saying
Joseph
that you
called
could
and flops
get
an
his
open
way
ender,
there that way,
okay.
But if he gets there,
Sure, why not?
he'd
Was
be
this
home.
when the interns or the
In theory, he could
gremlins?
just go-
It's unclear, and they may be the same, one and the same. Also unclear.
The whole card came through just for.
Well, there's no chance Joseph's going to fold on this flop.
No.
But the actual
That I know.
display of the card.
Interesting to see Shiny Dancer, aka Rafi, go for this bet on this board. It doesn't really feel like his board.
It's not. It's a little bit more Joseph's board for sure, but not tremendously so. You know, Joseph, like this is more like big blind kind of a board, I would say. Joseph certainly has some suited connectors and all the medium sets. He's going to raise it also, and as we see, I guess it was his board enough to win.
No, you don't. You have to
But you're right.
blame
Certainly,
it on
Shiny
Esther.
Dancer could have just
Esther
given up
gone
there.
wild.
I'm saying so when you.
Shinny Dancer.
I mean,
All right, you guys.
Rafi, by the way, completely unaware that his name changed, I imagine. I guess we'll know when this comes out if we hear from him.
Yeah.
surely that's the end of the name changes, right? They're not going to keep changing names because
I've watched like
I can't imagine who would do such a thing and why that would keep happening. So
I
feel
don't know,
like
man.
that's
It was
the end.
it was 2019, the Halcyon days.
It has gotten
It's
warmer.
true.
All
But
sorts
I'm
of
calling
things
it.
happened.
I thought it said shitty dancer there at first one, which would have been kind of a great name.
Yeah, I didn't know what that meant at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Well, the 10-9 student didn't work last time, but
The Esther comment.
you know what they say.
I mean, it's
Try
a good
again.
hand. Seven-handed, I think it's reasonable to open 10-9 suited from every position.
Absolutely. How about 9-handed? It's probably reasonable too if you're deep enough, right?
Yeah, probably. I mean, you could argue to not open it under the gun, but if you're deep enough, like you said, you probably should anyway.
Yeah, who would you argue with, though? No one's going to argue with the other side of that. That's the problem. They're like, of course everyone wants to play that hand.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
this
the
is one
Jack
of
of
those.
Diamonds offers a modicum of hope for the shiny
Oh.
one.
Also, he does have the best of it and the initiative and a range advantage, but he's not going to take a shot this time. Digital
Nobody
Dan
takes a shot.
doesn't either. It's
That
like
felt
gutter
like a
now
spot
for
where-
Wonka.
Felt like a spot where Dan could have taken a shot, rep an
Yep.
ace or a jack after we know that Rafi checked already.
Maybe he's just worried Rafi has a hand like queens, I guess. Rafi checks again, and I think Digital Dan could really, he called with
Nope.
7-6 in the cutoff. You gotta take some shots here. Anyway, Wonka makes a straight, so Wonka's gonna win this pot. I don't really see a scenario where he doesn't win the pot. Can he
The
induce?
question. I don't know. That was the question. Like, should he check or bet here? I think it's really close. It's hard to put either opponent on having anything, which makes me want to check. But also,
Yeah.
it's a scary run out, so it feels like we're not going to get a bet that often anyway.
We might be able to induce someone like Digital Dan to take a shot if everyone checks to him a third time on this sort of 4-straighty board. That'd be the one good thing about
Wow.
checking here. But I understand Wonka's trying to get value from like 2 10s maybe.
That's all you do a thing with your hand.
Maybe
Well,
a
I don't know.
weird
Did you see
two-pair.
the size? He bet
So,
huge.
like,
Oh, did he? What was it?
one of the times
It was,
you said that you were
185
bluffing, and
into
then you said it
110.
again, and you weren't.
Oh,
You still
wow.
had like the nuts. It's like, I have a read
So
on
he's hoping
Nick.
someone has like 4-5 and made
Feels like
2-pair
I
on the
got a
river, I
ring on
guess.
Yeah, something like that.
Hey,
Or
you
made
know,
a set on
I
the
told you
river.
why I'm a
He's like, yeah, you can
Yeah.
give me money, I'll tell you what it is.
I'm just saying.
Well, he could
that's the
check and
September
well, I guess they
29th,
wouldn't pay
but he
that
did,
much though.
like,
They
re-enroll,
Read was
I
that
guess,
certainly
that
that
night,
folding.
when you do a
first take
certain
or
thing,
whatever.
sometimes
He re-enrolled in
maybe
Information
have it
Online.
sometimes, and sometimes you don't.
I was glad that
All right, Joseph's going to play this
he
one.
didn't
under the
like
gun.
just make
Oh,
fantastic
yeah.
decisions against me for the rest of that
25?
day.
Yeah, I forgot what happened on that particular hand, but I don't remember. It was a decent sized bluff, right?
The Digital one
I don't know.
decides to
Oh,
call
yeah, I
with the
got
Queen
some
Jack.
silly Robbie.
Wheel decides to
Oh, yeah, yeah,
raise
yeah,
there
yeah,
with
yeah,
the
Robbie
9s,
kinda
and
wasn't
Stuart
in
has a
the
hand
game.
as well.
He
All
was
right, this
observing.
finally is happening.
I don't think Stewart's going to call. I think he's just
Me
going to
either, but I'm glad he has a decision at least to think about. But yeah, he's got to let it go.
Oh no, but you did get caught because
I think
otherwise he
this
wouldn't
might
have
just
known
get
that he
through,
was right.
honestly. I don't know.
Yeah.
Joseph is in an uncomfortable spot with ace queen off. Wheel is not a guy who 3-bets a ton.
125.
Huh. I don't really think of ace queen being part of anyone's folding to a 3-bet range in a cash game, but
Yeah.
Okay.
11.
11.
Used to be 12.
It's just not a very comfortable spot. You don't really know what you're looking for.
I mean, you're looking to flop a pair and hold on.
I mean, if you're going to fold ace queen off in a cash game, it might be when you open under the gun and one of the guys who never 3-bets 3-bet you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
Marty
that's true. If you're going to do it,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good time to do it.
That's fun.
I agree.
Turns out it was the wrong time. He had a flip, but it's really hard to know that.
Nice job by Wheel there,
Turned out.
picking up some spare cash.
Ship it out.
Digital Dan, you can see the ache of regret in his face there that he played the Queen Jack off
Me nuts.
in the hijack.
He will never live that one down.
Hold that hand.
Not internally, anyway.
You were behind.
Well, those are the
Because
ones
it's
that
all
matter.
about-
I haven't signed it yet. But
It's all about what do you think about when you're
Right here,
laying
it's on the
when you lay your
floor.
bed on the pillow at night, right?
And
Like,
outs.
I know. I
Right,
could
the
you know what
year-
Dan's going to think about.
I could say I'll sign
Yeah,
it
the
in
year
a week.
2056, Digital Dan will be waking up at 3:30 in the morning thinking about that Queen Jack and that $25.
Okay, so apparently now someone's called Winky.
That must be Wonka.
Really thought that was gonna be dice.
I like that.
Yep, Winky was the button. Okay,
One of the weak lumps.
Okay, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Like,
I think from now on his name should be Winky, and I think he should respect
I don't have
that.
the right blood
And
type.
then you call. And
Well, as long as people call him
Yeah,
Winky,
it's in a big pot.
his name could be whatever he wants it to be. You know. But Winky is pretty good.
I've also never bled before, so that would be my first time. I can't do it today. I can't do it in public.
You've never bled?
What?
You got.
That's hard to
He has
believe.
thick skin, guys. That's what he's saying.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Shit, nobody has
I
never
must have
bled.
bled.
Somebody. A lot of people.
Stuart bit. Stuart
Stuart,
bit. That's almost as.
No, we both just
You
went.
got me.
Just for the
You got
record,
me,
just
too.
for the records, the interns have never bled.
I believe that.
We both just went.
No,
Uh-huh. I've never bled.
Players are kind of obsessed with the interns, all of them,
Yep.
except the guys who are saying for wheel.
In the midst of Rafi trying to pull off the peculiar
Maybe
bluff
45
of
years ago?
convincing the table
Look
he
at
has
what the
never
Gelf
bled.
thing. Maybe 45 years ago, bled.
Strange choice, but okay.
That ship is coming.
It is a very strange thing to
Yeah,
say.
Too late. Late in the game.
We're just gonna
Also,
gradually say
easily,
worse and worse
fixed,
things on air until
you
they
know?
actually play some of it.
Well, it depends on if you actually are
It looks like
capable
a
of bleeding.
dare.
If you've never
Yeah, it's
bled
like
and
a
you're like
dare.
30 years old, you might think,
how
you know what, I
bad
might just not have any
you
blood
go.
in my body. I might be a medical anomaly.
Well, it doesn't really matter what you think. If you are a medical anomaly, you won't bleed. You know, it could be like Unbreakable, where he didn't even know that he never got sick. He never really realized it or thought about
Yeah.
it, and then. Although it's a little weird because he faked a football injury. He was in that car crash as a kid and was fine. He kind of did know, but I guess he didn't put the pieces together. He just thought he was lucky. Well, that hand ended quickly.
In that hand, the old Winky, he did not open the 8-6 suited in the cutoff, which is a bit interesting because last cutoff he opened King-9 off. You'd expect that would follow with an 8-6 suited open in the cutoff.
Absolutely. I don't know what's going on. What's happening? It's Anarchy in the USA right now.
Is that a Miley Cyrus song?
I mean, she may have remade it. I know you're doing a party in the USA joke. I get it. But it's also a Sex
Don't try
Pistols thing.
to make my joke so small and make it about party in the USA, okay? It's about anarchy.
45.
Winky's got a hand, everybody. Winky has a hand, and Ken is playing.
Call. One more.
Ken has decided he wants to play the 8-9
Ken is
off.
sick of frickin' folding, and I'm with you, Ken. Thank God someone chose to play a hand. Let's go. Let's kill Winky.
That's a good name for like a movie.
It actually is. There is a movie
Hey,
sort of like that.
Death to Smoochie? Is that what you're
Yeah,
thinking of?
yeah. That is exactly what I'm thinking of. Ed Norton Jr. and Robin Williams.
Bet 55.
Well, top pair for Ken, and he just can't fold,
Obviously not.
understandably.
Not the card that either player really wanted to see here. Pretty safe for Winky.
Yeah, pretty safe. Queen 9 is the only obvious call. Although Ken is the guy who calls with overcards, as we know.
He does. He does.
So Ken absolutely could have hit a queen here more so than most people. I like the check by Winky here. Ken could reasonably value betting or value for protection, though, with his 9.
Bet 125.
Especially
Yeah, I
protection.
think this is more protection than value for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think you're getting called by 2-8s too often here.
I don't know. Ken does some weird bets here. Anyway, as it is, Winky has a very straightforward call with jacks, as he can obviously be ahead. Oh, my
Ooh.
goodness. The first
There
bad
it
thing
is.
happened. It happened. We got there.
Aren't you happy?
Over
Now,
bet. Over bet.
the question is if Wonka will call. I think this is a very close spot.
He blocks the nuts. Shouldn't matter too much, though. Yeah,
He
he's
beats
trying to
no
think about it.
value. So
Could
what are the
Ken have
bluffs?
ace 9 and be betting for value? I think it's a fair question.
I think it's a
Ken
fair
will
question.
sometimes bet weird, like middle and second pair of hands once, but usually not usually get 3 streets with them.
10 seconds.
I think it's really close. I think it's reasonable to call with this hand. If you think about it from the point of view of what better hands do I play this way, there are very few.
That is accurate. But also, you
And we
can't
block the nuts.
really think of bluffs that easily.
Like even
I was worried that 8 hit you, actually. Right there.
you're looking at numbers.
You said you cannot think of bluffs easily?
Yeah, it's hard to find bluffs there.
Yeah.
Like,
You mean for Ken to have bluffs?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
So do they? So do
Yeah,
they
because he hits
have
the 8 on the
like,
river if he had an open ender.
They do openers like
Right.
almost
You
every
just
game.
check that back, we assume.
Is it
We assume
red?
he's not turning an 8 into a bluff there.
started today.
It's not, it's on top.
Anyway, nice hand by Ken. There's some blood. Yes.
That's why you call with 8-9 off.
3 times out of 5.
That is, I mean, that is kind of why you call with 8-9 off, right? To like river some guy and
But they got like
get call and
Look at this.
still happy.
We've added some formality to the process, and now we have a Mr. Winky.
You know, then they don't have to pay starting.
That's kind of better, actually. It's like Mr. Potato Head. You know, like Mr. Potato Head's like, hey, don't call me that. Mr. Potato Head's my father. I'm Potato Head. You know, but
Without a soup reference.
Like the Nationals yesterday, I was here playing and I watched the National game.
Ken now on a little bit of a roll.
Done in poker, I know.
I feel like Ken sometimes will win a few pots and then that's it. Then he plays everything. Let's see if that's true.
Yeah, we call that the Ken roll.
The next 3
The Ken roll,
teams will
The Ken roll. Yeah, the kids are doing it these days as a dance.
like you get on a roll and it's a Ken roll,
Yeah,
but the kids are dancing.
and I'm just saying,
Sure.
and they call it the
Why
Ken
not?
roll.
And they're dancing to Anarchy in the UK
starting pitcher,
by the
then
Sex
you know,
Pistols.
all that stuff. So once it
Sure.
was 5-1,
Yeah.
I had a $10 bet with the guy over there.
Raise
You ever heard that song?
I don't think so, but maybe without knowing it.
You would probably know if you heard it. It doesn't sound like most songs.
Okay.
Did Digital Dan just fold ace-6 suited for a raise of 20? Looked like that's what happened. That would seem
It
like
looked
a
like that was what
mistake.
Well, Ken might have played King 9 of Hearts in the hijack no matter what, but the Ken roll is on, so we'll see.
Yes.
Almost, it's like more than half the table. It's
I
like
think he
almost
would
a
have,
proper tie.
probably. Top 2 for Joseph. Ken with the gutter. Winky with the gutter. Winky's the only person with the spade as well, but it's going to be a pretty... I think he's only going to call if it's super cheap, because a 10 is not as good a card as, you know, as we see in this case, it is actually a bad card for him. He would lose to King 9 and Ace King. I think he'd be more worried about, of course, the Ace King.
Ken
75,
can't
I
call
did-
fast enough here.
Yeah. Do you think he calls that quickly to try and dissuade future bets? Or he just calls that quickly because he knows he's not folding?
My read on the situation is that he doesn't want to talk himself out of it.
In the field?
He just wants to
Interesting.
get the chips in there.
All right, well, it worked, and let's see if he can hit. He's got 4 outs. Well, really 2, though. 2 live outs.
One of the
a
brickiest cards in the deck.
Yeah. That should not change anything. It's really hard to imagine, except for a set of 7s, Joseph being down, and he checks. Ken checks it right back. Hits
Ooh,
a
the
9, but
9
it's a backdoor
of
clubs.
clubs.
Joseph checks again.
Oh.
He's worried about King 10. Joseph really missing out on either value or protection there.
There's more king 10s than 9.
I guess he was going for the check raise on the turn, though.
Perhaps. Joseph, we've seen Joseph play pretty cautious poker in the past, though.
Can we play bump up?
I mean, that was top 2, as you said, on a super bricky board. There'd be almost nothing to be afraid of.
And deal for the button, right?
Yeah.
Looks like we are doing a bomb pot. Is this the last
All
hand,
right.
Jonathan Levy?
It might very well be the last hand, Grant Dennison. I don't know. I'm not getting the
No, it is going to be on the stream. That's why they're asking
signal
for
or anything, but it usually is the last hand when we do this.
There are
But
7.
I don't know.
Okay.
And we're just only playing one board.
We are drawing for the button here.
Yeah.
Why's the button there?
That makes it more likely
Guys,
that
we're
it's
in
the
there.
last
We're
hand.
gonna draw
'cause
for
Looks
we
like
need
it's
that
$50
It's
too.
actually going to be
Yeah,
on
big
Stewart.
bomb pot.
Yeah, usually we do 25, right? So this is nice.
So there will be 350 in there. So for those of you who don't know, bomb pot is where everybody just gets dealt cards and we see the flop and then the betting starts. So we will be
Yeah.
7 ways to the
Dan got the
flop.
button.
Dan got the button.
I like that.
The button.
What?
The
I
button.
feel like Dan should
Wow.
always get the
How
button.
do we draw for the button? I never saw anything.
I am being told this is the last hand, Grant. Getting the signal right
No
now.
premiums out there. Let's see what we got. We've got
Well-
Ken with a pair and an open ender. We've got Joseph
Winky.
with top pair.
Check.
Winky with a pair and an open ender as well.
Yep, Dr. Winky now. He is
Sorry,
graduated
my
medical
bad.
school.
Joseph with top pair and a queen. So he's got top pair and the gutter.
Stewart's got
Stewart
top
with
pair
top pair and an
an
open ender. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot going on this flop.
125.
Everyone has at least a straight draw.
Dr. Winky's going to bet it.
Dr. Winky has a reasonable hand to bet. I don't see if you can you really just fold as Joseph? I don't think so.
If there's a scenario in which you can fold this hand, it's a bomb pot.
Yeah. especially a bomb pot when you have a million people to act behind you still.
Yeah.
It always sucks in a bomb pot when you have an okay hand and someone bets in early position.
Well, he does fold. Looks like Ken's
Ooh.
raising. That
Ken's
looks like a
pushing
raise.
back. It's confrontation time. Yes. Wheel has an easy fold here. But he's going to give it a
Well,
think.
This is an interesting.
Oh,
Dr.
worse
Winky
things have
has
happened.
a blocker to the nuts here. I wonder if that
Yeah.
will affect his thoughts.
Great man.
I don't know.
I think keep it in perspective, you know?
I mean, you got to assume Ken's going to get it in with hands that are worse than the nuts pretty comfortably, like all the straights, possibly all the 2-pair combinations.
If that's
Maybe
the
Jack
case, there,
10?
there might be too many scary things out there for Dr. Winky to really continue then.
I mean, I think he probably has to at least call. He's
I
getting
guess he could
4 to 1.
call. I guess he could call. I mean,
I think he's got middle pair and an open ender on the good side of it. It seems crazy just to throw your hand away when you're getting 4 to 1 to close the action. The problem, of course,
Yeah.
is if we improve, I mean, you're not going to get any more money if you improve. But 4 to 1's enough. Wonka's giving it a real think.
using a time card.
Time to use those.
Well, this has potential to really, blow up here. I'm loving it. Let's go. Like a 6. A 6, well, a 6 just makes kind of straight.
Okay, raise.
Yeah.
6 isn't that good. A 9. A 9 would be huge. 9
Whoa, I
comes
just
on the
heard
turn.
raise come out of Dr. Winky's
Really?
mouth. Yeah.
1,100 total.
1,100 total.
Is that $1,100? Wow, I guess that he's taken that jack as a blocker and really rolling with it. Turns out he's in
Ken-
a perfect spot.
Ken's got to be done with the hand now.
Oh,
he just
Ken
puts
went
it.
all in.
More than now. Oh, well.
Wonka's going to have to call now.
Oh, you got the jack?
And he's
Oh,
going to be
Wonka thinks he's
amazed.
dead.
You got
Wonka
jack?
thinks he's dead.
Okay.
He's so far ahead.
guys-
I have the queen 10.
These guys just lost their
Yeah, you
minds.
guys are like
They lost their
Joseph
minds.
is,
I have queen
Joseph
10.
is super
You got
upset
queen
because
10?
he had the best hand.
Okay.
I have queen 10.
Wow. Well, there is going to be a huge pot
Queen 10.
on this episode after all. It's 4.3K.
That's one of them.
Very few chops available.
Diamonds
Oh,
for
Ken thinks
Ken.
of backdoor diamonds.
Don't do it.
Oh! There! He gets there! Grant!
Brutal.
That is so rough.
That is how we're ending the session.
Oh
That's how
no!
Wonka had
No,
to
Wonka
drive
has to-
home that night.
He
has to
said
go
that
home.
earlier. Jay did.
He was this close to winning a 4.3K pot, and instead he loses
That's why he's supposed to be
$2,000 at the end. It's so unfair.
19.
Oh no! This is not how Ken thought he was going to get there. Let me tell you. I don't know if he knew he had backdoor diamonds. Look at the face. That's the face of victory.